Good morning. We're going to begin. I want you to recognize where we are in time in terms of the year. Isn't it amazing? We've slipped into December and everything that goes with it. So it's a completion, perhaps, if one was to look at it that way. And what sort of breath would you take when something's done, completed? And all of what needed to be done this year that you looked at when you began the year is behind you. And no matter what condition it's in, you can go, I learned a lot. I made some mistakes. I had some wins and I had some losses, and here I am. So sit there now, put yourself into your awareness of that breath. Ah, still standing. I'm still standing, and I've got what I've got, and my circumstances are my circumstances, and my mindset is where it is. And I can just watch my breath and be in a moment. The universe around this area of the world has been cleansing a lot with its rain. Amazing. I love the rain. Don't know what that's about, but we just do. Rain, bare feet and puddles, and rugby fields and grassy fields and running and sliding. You remember running and sliding through puddles in the rain on your backside and slipping along? I remember that. So much fun. Or paddling out on a surfboard with the pitter patter of rain making drops on the glassy surface of the water, and the board just carving through as you paddle out to the back, coming in freezing cold, taking off the wetsuit and hopping in a hot shower, all of that. So life. So here we are, bringing in awareness and letting go anything you might be holding on to that is not of use anymore. It's complete. As you breathe in, breathing in with awareness and oxygenating yourself and letting go any ideas or thoughts or ways of looking at things that aren't conducive to the results you breathing in and out. And just getting a rhythm going slowly in and out through the nose, taking control of your immediate you, taking control of your body, perhaps being grateful for the year. 2024 is nearly done. So many things have happened. New presidents, new council, and on, and all the dances. New roads, new roundabouts, new lights, new things, and time. Birthdays, complete. Here I am. The same, just been here a little longer. And just reflecting on the breath in and out now. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And allowing the coat. It's funny what happens just as we sit and breathe. Stuff that goes on, either influenced by the breath and or just while the breath is going in and out. Other things are happening. It's just about us. So we could take off any idea that it's just about us, it's just all me, and go, there's a whole lot more going on. And allow yourself to be in a perhaps forest of trees and other life sounds, trickling out of water or a stream, the damp leaves, the sound of a bird flying through the top of it. Just being present and bringing yourself now into the breath in and out. And wherever you find yourself in your imagination, because imagination is also a reality, that you can cause the reality by influencing your imaginings. You're not stuck your imaginings. And if you let them habituate, unless it's trained, you can end up with imaginings that conflict with your environment that you've chosen to. So just check your imaginings and bring them to the moment, watching the breath go in and out. Imagining perhaps the forest, the dampness, the little trickling brook, birds, hearing movement in the forest. Just feeling the temperature, the quietness, and yet alive. bring yourself into now, your attention on your breath, and allow your physical body just to rest. Ready for the week, but rested, like breathing still. And you let your physical body just be sitting there. It doesn't need you to do anything right now. I want you to allow yourself to go to your emotional body. Just notice your emotional state, where your attention is. And just breathe into it. And bring it to where you choose it to be. Bring it to calm, peace, presence, awareness, stillness. Breathe in. And let the emotional body just. I don't know if you've thought about energy much, but it's an amazing thing, because if you go to lift somebody of your weight or heavy, even someone lighter, you'll find that they're quite heavy to lift. And yet you call on energy in a fleeting moment and just lift your body, any part of it. You just stand up, move around, walk all day, climb, and not really notice how heavy it is to carry. I want you now to take energy. You just call on this energy and you can lift something so incredibly effortlessly, sometimes a bit tight if your energy's depleted. But it's quite amazing that you can just carry it around. And then you pick up extra things, carry them around. Respect energy. You can feel it tingling perhaps in your fingers, the electricity, electromagnetic energy. And just notice what's at your fingertips, that you can call on that energy to move stuff about, to move you about. And then let that energy body and come into the mind body, the thinking, the imagining. Just notice its condition. Where's your attention? Are you distracted? Are you present? Are you focused? Just somewhere you can't get in, you can't get here, or you can, you're in. That's okay. Don't judge it. Just notice. Pay attention to where your mind is. And notice, if you will, like your energy body, your mind body deals with it, thinks all the time. It's creative. It can get fixated on something that's useful or not. It can imagine infinitely. It's an amazing mechanism. And then go into the fifth body, the light. Just let your mind body be still and watch the breath and go into light. The beginning of it all. Light is everything. Everything comes from varying degrees if you understand physics. It's all light. And as I've said before, and you, I imagine, might know from readings or understandings, the light fractionated into different shapes, frequencies, becomes color, and becomes the seven spectrums. And then light becomes sound, it becomes the seven core notes of the musical score. Magical. And then if you look at the human body, the seven organs of the endocrine system, the east core, the chakras, they are actually the heart, the solar plexus, the reproductive organs, etc., etc., pineal gland. So as you look at all of the seven and all the other sevens, there are many, and it's a fascinating thing. Notice there is an order to the chaos. There is a magical, if you understand that order a little bit without being academic, you can influence your awareness to appreciate the magic you're part of. You can take control and notice that you're a part of a sequence, an alchemy, an algorithm that is extraordinary as you line it with your values, your beliefs, your identity, your intention, and then pour your attention through that awareness and make sure they're all in harmony, like the light, 7 colors, all its colors, and the musical score, the 7 major notes, and all the half notes and quarter notes and all the notes in between. And notice that you are able to rest into an incredibly magical universe. And as you take that and now bring your awareness through your imagining into this week, into the completion of the year coming, into the journey you've traveled. And many years before, you've traveled 2024, and you've gotten to where you've gotten. Would it be okay right now to take full responsibility for that response of achievement? Take your awareness and put it on what you've done well. Good for you. Good for you. And then take a look at what didn't work and thank it and look at it and just check. What did I learn? Because it's only about the learning. If you're not learning, it's going to be more painful. The universe is not trying to hurt you. It's just the lessons reciprocate. So the lessons come to where you pour your attention. They call it karmic. You act, there's a response. Push, there's a pushback. There's just a dance. And as you notice it, you start to influence where you influence. You start to choose where you. And you notice that you start to cause an effect. And as you look at the history, you look at the journey you've traveled the last 12 months. And in each 7 days, it's a 12. And look at the zodiacs, all of that, and look at the numerology, and look at all the magical languages that try to explain it in their own unique way. Some of them appearing a little far-fetched. Some of them appealing to you, some of them seeing as a little bit fluffy. Wherever it is, just notice all the ways, all the languages of explaining things. And just notice that your DNA is a unique sequence. It's a mathematical, algorithmical order. It's a molecular sequence that causes just you. Amongst humans, 1 in 8 billion. Impossible. But in the order of the 7s and in the order of all the 5s and the 4s and the sequences and the algorithms and the mathematics and the magic and the zodiac and the different times when you're born and the way that lines up at the time you were born. You notice all the influences. Then you sit here as you. It's not just a competition. You sit here in a magical sequence. Really think about that. You're part of a magical sequence that is relatively impossible if you talk to quantum physicists or even scientific physicists, hard-edged, linear thinker. Hard to explain, a lot of it. Still can't explain, but they know there's an order. They know that you turn up because of something that is so incredibly impossible, so improbable, so incredibly complex. And yet the imaginings and the knowings that's true, even if you don't understand all the science. You can sit and wonder now as you breathe. And if you forget to breathe, you'll be breathed by the magic. Even when you're asleep, you'll be breathed by the intelligence of it all. There's an order, there's a way it works. Now, you can interrupt it if you fight it. You can upset it by being angry or reactive. You can be pissed off because it's not working the way you wanted it to, and you're missing the lesson that's there for you with love. But while you're in your disorder over the times in the year where you might have slipped, it still goes on. You still breathe. It still works. The magical moon comes and the sun goes down. The weather changes and it rains and then it's dry. And the grass changes color. And magical dance is impossible as it exists. So as you reflect on your life, who you are sitting here in this intense beginning somehow seems to turn. There is a completion and a beginning that's always the same. They're all happening at the same time. But there is a significant completion of what we call a year, 4 months, so many days, divided into weeks of 7. And you got to here we are sitting. By the way, where we sit right now, as you get ready for a bigger breath, as you sit here right now, you're at the furthest edge. And then that's gone. You're at the even furthest edge. You are sitting in a place that you've never sat before. You've never existed here before. No one has. But often we're missing that in our day-to-day busyness. We're not noticing that we're actually at the edge of the human journey. Like we're right at the far edge of it. Like we haven't been here before. Christmas is coming, but we've never, ever in the history of humankind and existence been to this Christmas before. We have never been to this day before. We have never been to this minute before. So as you reflect on your existence and the intensity of what I'm saying, it's big to take on at this time. You can take it on and get a sense of this, of your life, the meaningfulness of who you shared this incredible moment of never been here before with. How are you with the people you are with? And how do you apply yourself to what you're going to do today and this week that you've never been to before? No one has been to a Tuesday, tomorrow, in December 2024, ever. Your tomorrow has never been experienced by anyone on the planet in this time zone. Get a load of that. So if I said to you, we're going to take you to a planet you've never been to before, it's just as magical as that tomorrow. But what's just as magical as that is this afternoon. What's just as magical as that is 9 o'clock, which is coming up in 5 minutes. You've never been there before. So as you revisit in your own unique way, the intense magicalness, meaningfulness of what I'm saying, your level of appreciation should be going through the roof. You get to be here. Now, let me give you a little stir up. You might not make the 9 o'clock. You might not make lunchtime. You might not make tonight. I kid you not. You might not be there. You might go, it never happened for me. I never got to that. So just appreciate that there is a dance that's going. And already there are people that are just taken out of the dance. Unexpected, surprising, sometimes not unexpected. But very well, sitting there, boom, gone, phone call. So just notice the appreciation of the moment you've never had before. Notice the appreciation of the privilege of being able to enjoy it and be in it. And now let's look as we go into the breath. What are you going to do with it, knowing how sacred it is? It's like going on a holiday to somewhere you've never been. Walking the Camino, the road to Santiago, where it's been walked for thousands of years, but not on the days. No one had walked it other than the people that were on the road that day. No one has ever been. But there is a history to it. And as you look at life and you look at humanity, there is thousands of years of history and ancient wisdom and artifacts and story and all of it. But you walk into it like an ancient village for the first time each day. And what remnant are you going to leave for those that come after you? What condition are you going to leave of your imprint? So as you look at the week coming, get ready now. I'm going to count to 1 from 3. And as I get to 1, you can go into the big breath. 3, 2, getting comfortable. 1, and be aware. And consider the silence is like the void you sit in of the future and the tapestry you can create into. You walk into a day and there are artifacts from the past, pathways, roads, mechanisms. It's tricky because you look at the past and go, I have been here before, I was here yesterday. No, you weren't. You weren't where you are yesterday. You were where yesterday was yesterday. There are things that have changed significantly, both bluntly and subtly. It is not the same. If you really refine that to a molecular awareness, you'll see all those differences right through to the molecular nature. But also things have moved, even in the obvious. People are a little bit older, a few hours. The child might have another word they didn't have the day before. Bank accounts have moved or changed. Money's been spent or gotten. So as you enter, start your breath again. Really bring your awareness to the amazingness of what you're really experiencing, because it is extraordinary. Sometimes it's a bit big to look at, but if you want to look a little more at the incredibleness of it, you are hurtling through space on a rock at 700,000 kilometers an hour. There are other rocks hurtling in orbits, but they're held in a sequence. But they are so big, so huge, like you can hop on a plane and fly from one end of Australia to the other, and it takes hours traveling. You're on that rock hurtling. And if you look out at the sky, and they say the stars reflections of stars, not the stars themselves, unless they're in our galaxy. So looking at it all, there is so much going on, not to overwhelm you, but to build appreciation. If you go, I'm bored, or my life is meaningless, what am I going to do? You could look and go, hang on a minute, pay attention and the appreciation, taking the breaths. Bring your awareness to this week. And what you do with it, influence next week. Influences everybody around you. The decisions you make, how you interact, how you respond, tone you use, the words you use, where you go, how you deal with the people you come across, be it at a crossing, a lift, or in the traffic, or those that you know. If you bring yesterday's discontent to today's gathering, if you bring yesterday's or the past's pissed offness at something to the present moment, you're not here. You're not here in the preciousness. Let it go, take the learnings. Let it go, take the learnings. Let it go, take the learnings. The wisdom is the gift. The lesson is the lesson. Don't get stuck on keeping the lesson all the time, keeping the struggle, keeping the discomfort or the agony or the tiredness of your Kokoda. Remember the lesson and then let go the pain of the walk, the climb, the fall. Don't bring the climb pain and the fall to the room of the present. Bring the wisdom and the learning to the room. Yes, cautious, aware. Trust in God, lock up your camp. Bring your wisdom. But also remember, it's a brand new place. You apply your wisdom to the present. So as you look at this week, through your wisdom, take action, influence. Be silent sometimes. I don't need to say anything here. Sit back. Or put your bid in, because if you're scared to, because in the past you got bitten and or said something that wasn't received well, doesn't mean you need to shut down for the rest of your life. Just go, oh, lost it there. This time I'm going to speak with my truth, my meaning. And if someone doesn't like it, then it's not my problem. I'll just try and deliver it with grace. And if someone else is stuck in the history, wandering around, not here, they're in the history, even though they seem here, just notice it and understand. I know. Forgive them, or influence it, or leave the space and go into your next now. So as you look at all of that and notice that, look at this week, and look at it in relation to the completion of the year coming in a few days. It's not a month anymore, it's a few days. And Christmas is it. And Christmas, as you look at it from the wisdom, not regret. You bring sadness and regret to Christmas because of past Christmas. You're not in Christmas, you're in the past. So look at it. This time, this few days leading up, when I go to buy something, make something as my gift, I'll do it in the present with my love as I influence my business, my work, my commerce. I'll do it from a position of love, being present, and vision linked to the impossible dreams of my future. If you're Merlin's student and you're pissed off because you're trying to in Harry Potter and they try to get the wand to make a certain thing and it goes wrong, don't yell at the wand. Don't get all pissed off. Just stop and go. Keep practicing. Because each day you go out there, you're trying to cause your vision and it won't turn up. You just got to get the wand right. You just got to get it right. You've got to behave in a certain way. You've got to speak in a certain way. You've got to have a certain tone. You've got to have a certain movement to be able to get the thing to work. And that's the magic. It's the journey of practicing the mastery. But if you want to cause a swan and it keeps turning up as a duck, right? Don't get mad at the duck. So as you see it and the humor and the joy in it, I want you now to reflect on what you have created in this year gone by. That was the swan. And if you've got a duck pond, that's okay. Just laugh and go back to the drawing board. Or maybe I need some help. Don't be mad at it, or be mad for a brief moment, throw your dummy, and then get back to work and take the learnings, take the wisdom, and then try again. Because you know as well as I know that in those mistakes, often what the swan turns up as is through the mistake. And then you realize it was never a mistake. You just didn't know, but it worked, and the alchemy took place. So as you look at this and reflect and come into now, just allow yourself to bring the magic as you just wander through your forest. If you're sitting on a rock or wandering through damp leaves or swimming in a creek or wherever you are, your imagination, how magic's that? Notice that all this time you've been breathing, consciously or unconsciously. All this time, the molecular nature of it all has been dancing. All this time, the endocrine system's been working. All this time, the 7 colors have been around you. All this time, the notes, the sound, and the 7 notes of the musical score. Do, re, mi, all of that. They're more than just noise. They're the sounds the universe holding together. They're the colors of the spectrum of light that cause everything. As you look out and see the blue sky, as you look at the warmth of the sun glistening, causing photosynthesis, as you look at your breath out, knowing the plants are breathing it in and all that, just notice there's the sun. So bring your awareness now, wherever you've taken it, and bring the wisdoms and the learning to this Monday now, into the room